folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little guy right here. It's almost being swallowed by my hands. It's called Manhattan Project Chain Reaction. Now this is not an expansion to Manhattan Project, the worker placement game from Minion Games. This is actually a streamlined card game that basically carries the same feel as the Manhattan Project, but it is in a 20 to 30 minute card game where you're chain reactioning your cards that are in your hand in order to produce different things and build bomb plans. So let's get down to the table and I'll show you. Alright, in a game of the Manhattan Project, the Chain Reaction, the whole purpose of the game is to build these bombs and to possibly load them, which will simply add 2 points to the value of the bomb. The point of the game is to be the first person to get 10 points worth of bombs built. At that point, the end of the game is triggered, and everybody has an equal amount of turns. So whoever is to the right of the start player from the beginning of the game, when they take their last turn, the game is over. So in the industry deck, you're going to have a number of different kinds of cards that will allow you to reach that goal. And the anatomy of the card is pretty simple. Up at the top here, you have what is necessary to activate the output of the card. So you can play a card to fulfill these two things, which will give you the output. Some of the outputs let you draw more cards, or let you make other people destroy cards from their hand, basically just randomly discard them, or they produce more yellow cake, or they produce more uranium, or they produce more workers, engineers, scientists, or laborers. And so these are the different kinds of cards. You also have cards that are in there that simply allow you to do an ability, and you can either play it for its ability, or you can play it for its scientists, or laborers, or engineers, or something to that effect. So there are basically three different parts of the card that you need to pay attention to: special abilities, the kinds of workers that they produce, and the output that card will give you if you activate it by fulfilling these two requirements. For example, the factory says that you can use any 2 workers to activate it, which will output this. So in my hand, if I have these 2 scientists, I could play these face down, not face down, but long side up like this, and then play this card on top of it, and then that would allow me to activate these this building to output that. For this one, I would need 1 scientist and 3 yellow cake in order to output 2 uranium. So if I had 1 scientist in my hand, I could play that down, use 3 of my yellow cake, and then I would be able to activate this, which will give me 2 uranium. Now, on your first turn, you're probably not going to be worried so much about producing uranium, because you have to have yellow cake first in order to produce uranium. So these are probably not going to happen on your first turn unless you get the cards you can to get this and just put out 1 uranium. So, but this hand doesn't allow me to do that, so I'm going to try to produce as much yellow cake as I possibly can. So I want to activate this card, and it takes any 3 workers to do that. So I'm going to use my 2 scientists and then 1 of my engineers, and I play them out like this, and then I take the card and I play that on top of it to show that I've used those workers, and I get to take 3 yellow cake from the reserve and add it to my pile. Then I look at these other things, and I have to remember that there are landmark cards out here that I can always use at any time. Now, these landmark cards are inefficient compared to the cards that are in your hand, so these are kind of like a last resort. If you can't do anything else with your hand, look at the workers that you have and see what you can output out here. So I only have engineers left, so I could produce a scientist. I could do that, and that could actually get me to produce that. So I'm going to use 3 engineers to activate the university, which will give me 1 scientist. And I'm going to use that 1 scientist and 2 of my 3 yellow cake, just making change over here, to produce 1 uranium. So I can use 1 scientist and 2 yellow cake to produce 1 uranium. So I take that uranium, I add it to my pile, and now the cards from my hand simply go away. I draw 5 new cards, and my turn is over. Now on the second player's turn, they have this card in their hand, and this is an interesting card. It's called Design Bomb, and it allows you to draw 3 bomb plan cards and keep 1 face down in front of you. So normally, these are the only bomb plan cards that players are able to build throughout the course of the game. But what this card allows you to do is it allows you to draw the top 3 of the deck, look at them, choose one, and then that's one that only you can build. Let's see here. We have that one. Now that gets us a long way to the 10 points we need to end the game, but it is a pretty expensive one. As you can see, it takes 5 uranium, 2 engineers, and 1 scientist. But we're going to go ahead and keep this as an ace in the hole and keep that down in front of us. And then these 2 that are left go on the bottom of the deck. Now this card isn't really doing me any good because it doesn't provide me with enough workers to visit any of these landmarks, or the right kind of workers. If this provided me with 2 scientists, I could use this card with my 1 yellow cake and gain a uranium, but they're engineers and not scientists. So this is the end of my turn. I have the choice to either keep this and then just draw back up to 5, or I can simply discard it and then draw 5 new cards from the deck. And so as it comes back around to the first player's turn, they have 1 yellow cake, 1 uranium, and their hand of cards. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to play 2 scientists and use the yellow cake to use the enrichment plant here. 2 scientists and the yellow cake to make another uranium. And then we're going to use, here we have 2 more scientists and an engineer. So we have 2 scientists and an engineer and our 2 uranium, and turn that in to build this bomb in front of me. So now I'm on the board with 3 points. Use these 2 engineers, even though this is only 1. This is a good point to notice. If you play a card for its workers and there's an overage, in other words, this only takes 1 engineer, but this provides 2, I cannot then use that other engineer on a future turn play on my turn. If I play this card for this card, then it's used and I can't go back and use it. But that does get me 2 more yellow cake that I can use on a future turn. These all cards go away, and I draw 5 new cards. So that is very simply the Manhattan Project chain reaction. Very fast, very fun, actually, card game for that a lot of different people will probably be able to latch on to. I know that my family had a really great time doing it, and it was very easy to teach this game to them, which is saying a lot, because I have a number of different abilities to grasp concepts that are in my family. So if I can teach all of them the same game and they all kind of catch on at the same pace, then that means that this is a very simple, very easy game to grab hold of. And that's what I like about it. It carries with it the same very basic foundational feel that the Manhattan Project carried with it to begin with, in that you are trying to manage your resources, send your workers out to the right places to bring back the right things in order to build that bomb, and then and so forth and so on. So another thing that I like about it is the I guess you could say the replayability of it, because the rule book basically says that you play until somebody reaches 10 points, which could happen fairly quickly, especially if there's a kind of a perfect storm kind of situation with the cards that are dealt out to you and that type of thing. Rarely would happen that it would happen too quickly, I think, but it is there where games can go pretty quick. So you can actually just simply expand the amount of points that you're going to end the game on, and that changes how long the game plays. So if you feel like 10 points is going to be too short, especially after playing it with a few different times with that way, and you just feel, I felt like I was just getting ready to go, and somebody who got a better deal than I did was able to end the game really quickly. Well, just simply expand those points out, and that will fix that problem, I think. I really enjoyed that about the game. Now, all that having been said, I will say this. I think the brevity of the game is one of its strong points because it gives you that taste of Manhattan Project, but it gives it to you in just about 30 minutes max. And that's really cool. So it took the bare bones of what Manhattan Project is and stripped it down to a still fun 30-minute card game, filler game, really. And that's where I really liked about it as well. So I'm going to give the Manhattan Project Chain Reaction 2 thumbs way up. This is very good for a number of different situations, I think, but it will shine in a filler role. And I think a lot of different kinds of people are going to be on board for this. It was a neat little gem that I got at Gen Con. So hey, that's Manhattan Project Chain Reaction. See you on the flip side.